Hello and welcome to the Kosh. I'm your host Timber Smith, and another week, another great guest. Super excited. I'm so lucky that I get contacted by great individuals who want to be part of the Kosh, and I'm always stunned at actually the level and the caliber and quality of individuals that I get for guests. So as the Kosh listeners out there, I hope you also are enjoying it as much as I enjoy it. As always, I like to tell you, thank you so much for taking time to listen to the Kosh, and do not ever hesitate to reach out and let us know. And if you're listening to the Kosh and you're thinking, I totally need to be on the Kosh because I've got things to say, then please reach out and let me know, and we can make that happen. All right. So this week's guest, once again, I am super excited about who we have for this week's guest. I think you'll understand once we get started. I don't know where this is going to go, but you know what, it's going to do what it do, right? So this week's guest is Lyle Sidney. Lyle.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing over there?
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Okay.
Got a little Bloody Mary here.
Uh-oh. You didn't tell the secret, the secret of a great show, did you?
You already gave it away last episode. Your Clamato. You use your Clamato because of the texture of the Bloody Mary. Yeah. I listen.
Oh, okay, yes. Look, the Clamato is the secret to a great Bloody Mary, because I don't know about you, but like I love a good spicy Bloody Mary, but I also don't want it thick.
And then you get like a dry mix to mix into it.
Nope.
Or do you your own spices?
Nope. I use a premix. There's several premixes out there that are pretty decent. And then, sometimes I could go old school, like the good old tomato juice can, like some A1 steak sauce, seasoning salt, like we get down.
Yeah. I tried different Bloody Mary mixes, premixes, and a lot of time I find myself adding or diluting a little bit. So I'm like, that's a little spicy, mellow it out, or, add a little bit extra garlic in it, or a little bit extra pepper sometimes, or things like something like that, just to play with the flavor. It's not my favorite, but this stuff I got is actually from Milwaukee. What's that called?
Oh, I don't know. We're gonna have to. What's it called?
This is a brand called Jimmy Loves.
Jimmy Loves.
Yeah, local Wisconsin, award-winning flavor. Jimmy Loves.
Well, we can't knock anything Wisconsin made, and now you got me curious, because I'm not gonna lie, the Bloody Mary was not my choice for this episode, but now that I know it's Wisconsin made, I'm gonna have to try some Jimmy Loves.
Definitely. So, where did you grow up?
Nope.
Come on.
We didn't even go into the first segment.
You said this is a conversation.
It is a conversation.
Yeah. I think I should interview you today. I don't like being put on the spot, so I'll just interview you.
Well, I'll tell you what. How about we just trade off a little? We'll trade off a little.
Sounds good.
But we're gonna start at the basics of. Can you please share a little something about yourself, and what is your connection to the Kosh?
Yeah, so I grew up in Portland, Oregon, the first 25 years of my life. So I have a passion for helping kids and families that have challenges, and so I've worked with some different youth organizations, child care facilities, and so that's my heart. Kind of with the stress of everything this year, I've kind of stepping back from youth services and just taking a labor job, so I have more energy, for my family and my foster kids at home. So at the end of the day, but I definitely can see myself doing something more creative in the future, a job that's more creative, but also, being able to help families. That's really my heart and passion in life. So
big shout out to, I think I heard you say that you've got foster children.
Yes.
Can you share a little about that? Because I'm not gonna lie, like that's something that like hits me in the soul a little bit. it's always in the back of my mind. Like, if I ever get to a certain comfortable space in life, I want to go. I would love to foster a child, and not a child. I actually would like to do a teen. I would like to do somebody who truly needs you before they become an adult. I think I'd be good at that and helping them get kicked off in life.
Well, that's actually the biggest need, is someone that would take in a teenager. If you look on the state website right now, it's the adoption database. They're all teenagers. Like everybody, takes the babies first.
Yes.
And the toddlers. And actually, my wife and I, because I worked with teenagers at Rawhide Boys Ranch for 10 years. And, it was a cool organization started by Bart Starr, and we decided not to take teenagers because I worked with them all day long. So it's like taking their work home. I know that's a recipe to burn out. And, it's so easy for someone, in social services to burn out. You got to have a good gauge and have people that care about you and know you to watch your back and watch your levels. Cause sometimes you don't know you're burning out.
That makes sense.
But there's a reason, I know you used to work for UWO. Like one of my neighbors is a professor, and she's walking down the street the other day, walking her dog, and she's like, yeah, I'm on sabbatical. Well, that's awesome. Like, that's needed. I mean, social workers need that. Police officers need that. Like, you need to take a mental break and step away, get out of town, get a VRBO for 3 months and get out of Oshkosh and recalibrate your mind, fill yourself up with things that are important, and regenerate and get inspired and then come back strong, into the community. But there's no money for that, or people don't build that into their structure of their, social organization. Like, I can't say a lot, but, we've had a foster child that for 6 years that has had six different social workers.
What? No,
bruh. So that's all I can say.
Yeah.
So that frustrates us and adds to a lot of other confusion and a lot of other drama and miscommunication, everything else with biological parents and the courts and GDLs and everything else. So
are they doing okay?
Yes. So the child, they've been with us for 6 years. So we've stabilized their life. They know us as, the person that takes care of them day and night, and that they know that they're safe. But it's, it's hard, because social workers burn out, they move, they get pregnant, another social worker comes in, who doesn't know the case very well, this, that, and the other. There's always something the county tries to do a good job, but there's always something there's always a fire to put out. There's always something crazy going on. There's always extra stress, dysfunction and politics too, which should not be, in childcare, but it happens. So, So that's the thing. It's hard to work for the county. Sometimes it's tough working with kids. But in the long run, you just make them feel safe, inspire them, have clear boundaries and rules, and follow through with what you say, and they'll start to trust you and they'll start to heal. But it's the county and the state government agencies trying to do social care is very challenging. So there's a lot of private organizations like RIDE and other organizations, Lutheran Social Services, that step in, and they actually have a higher success rate. NGOs, non-government organizations, have a higher success rate across the nation.
That would make sense to me, because I just don't think government is meant to do that job. I'm a firm believer, and I don't think a lot of people, there's those people that just think government's supposed to do the absolute minimum that it can. But no, absolutely not. Look, you pay taxes so the government can help make us better societally and fill in the gaps that we cannot fill in, because no business can fill it in. You can't fill it in personally. But there's needs. But when it comes to children, I just don't think I don't think they're made for it. Bruh. I just don't think government is made to truly, because children need love and nurturing and guidance, and government does not do well in those categories.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't mean to get on this subject so fast, but it is what it is. But here's the thing, to not burn out, you need to know, your stress levels. You need to know your cues, your red flags. You need to have healthy support of friends, family, church family, people, respite providers, other foster parents, people in the community that will help you. Like, you can't do it by yourself. And they tell you that, because, you're an island,
well, it takes a village. Right.
And it's all, it's all science too. Like, there's not to get too nerdy, but there's a psychologist named Dr. Bruce Perry. He was the main psychologist that studied the effects of trauma on children's brains in the horrible things that have happened in our country over the last 20, 30 years, like 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings. There was kids there. There was a daycare there at the government buildings that got bombed, and the kids at 9/11, and they saw all the horrific things. And what does that do to a kid's brain? Well, it messes you up. It will repattern your brain, and they want to, and so they're studying what it does and then how to treat a child's brain that has been affected by all this trauma, either seen, felt, went through that. But Dr. Bruce Perry also did a study worldwide for a lot of years, and he just studied the development of kids on every level, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And number one, that it seems so basic. I mean, most of us know this, but number one, kids that are the healthiest on every level have they grew up with multiple healthy adults around them. So the way the world works, the way things are supposed to be, the way my worldview is, the way the world was created is family. And so a child grows up with grandparents around, aunts and uncles around, and those people are safe, and they challenge that kid. They inspire that kid, make him feel safe. They love that kid. But because of dysfunction, because of our selfishness, because of families living on other sides of the country, they don't have the grandparents, in their lives, or the aunts and uncles, to create a healthier, experience for that child. And so, but that can be fixed by bringing a community around you, friends that you trust, people in the community that but you always need to just always double check the kid's safety also, even with people that you trust. Just always make sure everyone's accountable, because there's people, there's all kinds of crazy stuff in the world, and you never, so that's a big subject. It's a heavy subject for a Saturday morning, but it's good to to think that through and be reminded of that. Like, when we have an opportunity to speak into the life of the neighbor kid down the street, why is he always on my lawn? Why is he always doing that? He's always loud out there. Well, go spend some time with him, get to know him, go, take care of the mom, offer to babysit him, be the change you want to see, in the world.
Well, just be a supporting adult. Right. I grew up, and said, I'm going to go back and answer your question. I grew up in Milwaukee.
I felt like maybe that was the truth, though,
Well, hey, look, I'm 100%. Shout out to the mill. Shout out to all those from the mill and all those who think they from the mill. Because there's a thing that I have. There's a lot of people that say they're from Milwaukee, but they be from Cudahy. You ain't from Milwaukee. Quit saying that. But nonetheless, I live
in their mansion in Brookfield.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I ain't mad at Brookfield folks, but I am serious about Milwaukee folks. You know what I'm saying? So, it is one of those things, where that is where I am from. More importantly, though, what I would say is that growing up, I had cool stuff. Like
what side did you grow up on?
The north side.
Where at? Any close cross streets?
Close cross streets. Hampton-ish, Villard. My stomping grounds was between Hampton and Silver Spring in the 60th Street area. Yeah. And that's what I'll say. And so my thing is this, like, I had cool neighbors. I had neighbors who like they weren't all up in my life, but like I saw my neighbors. They talked to me. They snitched on me when I was doing wrong to my parents. They definitely did. But they was just good folks. And I could go over a couple of blocks and I have friends there and I knew their parents, and like it was different, right? Like you felt like there was a lot of eyes watching, but not necessarily, not in a bad way, but like there was multiple locations where I could go get help if I needed help, or like I just felt safe. Like they would invite me in, I could eat their snacks. I was totally that kid, because if you let me in your house and you were like, "Oh, are you hungry?" Yeah. Yes, I'm always hungry. I'm always going to eat your cookies. And that's just how it goes. And I might not even have wanted any candy or cookies, but if you was going to offer, I'm about that life. I'm just saying. That's right. But I love what you're saying. And I am a firm believer that it just takes a village. Yeah. I feel like we've gotten away from that. Like, all these children are our children. Like, all the children are our children. And if I can help, I want to help. And if I see something wrong, I want to get it right. You know, and we don't, you know, and I know my wife feels the same way. I just think that's important. Like, we've lost our village mentality. And the village mentality is too, like, when we were doing good things, I feel like there was that village mentality. Like, it wasn't us versus the world, as in just us as the singular, but it was all of us trying to make the world better and making sure that our futures were better by taking care of our children.
Awesome. You know, I think that Oshkosh is, one reason I like Oshkosh is the size. I feel like it's not too big, not too small. I love the water. But the things going on, like right now, right down the street, probably like a quarter mile from here, is like the farmer's market. Yeah. So as much as possible, like I like to go down to the farmer's market.
Me too.
Sometimes it's my whole family. Sometimes it's just me and my little girl. And, you know what, like just us showing up almost every Saturday morning, you know, walking, you know, supporting local.
Yes.
Number two, you build relationships.
Yes.
Like the director, she knows me by name. She always says, "Hi, Lyle," like whatever. Like, there's a little lady that we buy jams from, and she knows all of our names, my whole family, all of our kids' names.
Wait, what's GMs?
What's that? Jam.
Oh, sorry. Jam.
Yeah, she makes, you know, strawberry, raspberry jam. Yeah. She, yeah. So I'm told I have a weird accent. You know, obviously I've been out of Oregon for, you know, I don't know, 13, 14 years. So I find myself saying some Wisconsin things up there. So like, or no, yeah, or no. But like, you know, I still have a little bit. It's kind of a mesh of West Coast and Northwest. I say Northwest and Wisconsin.
That's fair.
So
yeah, all right.
My mom says Wisconsin.
Look, I'm a Wisconsin person. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, I would say like a soft O-N, like Wisconsin. Wisconsin.
Yeah,
but I learned that it's got to be a harsh German Wisconsin.
Well, hey, look, look. We are as the state goes. I think we are heavily German influenced. So yeah, there's some heavy. There's some heavy.
Yeah. But it's so cool. Like, we made friends at the farmers market just by showing up. Like, people know us by name and we support them. They, she's like this sweet little old lady. She's always like, oh, we always support. We always buy pumpkins from her, jams, pickles, or she's always like, oh, let the little girl pick out another little jam. I'm like, oh, we're good. Like, no, let her pick out another one. Okay. Like, she's always giving us free stuff, throwing it in our bag, things like that. Just building community, building relationship. It's super cool. We just love it. But going back to like stress, like working with helping other families, helping kids, it like definitely what brings stress relief to me always has been like watching comedy. So as soon as I was 21, I started going to comedy clubs, in Portland. My first real comedian I saw was Jerry Seinfeld at the Schnitz. It's a big theater downtown Portland. I always loved it. I always, that's the stress relief. Like, 8 times out of 10, it's, we get the kids in bed. If I want to, Friday night I want to watch a movie, want to watch this, another, I need to laugh. Like, I don't want to watch a horror movie. I don't want to watch a serious movie. My life is serious. Like, I need some balance, need some stress relief, and so that's where, laughter is good medicine, and that's
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's facts.
Yeah. And so that's a big key. How I like to be creative. Also, I like social media stuff, and I just started helping a couple of comedians that I knew, just doing the social media for them, and then helping at comedy shows, and then doing the marketing for a comedy tour. And I worked for a really bad person, like a really bad booker. Just I could name 7 or 8 things that were not on the level. Like, I caught him in lies, manipulating things. Female that worked with us said, he was getting a little handsy one night, that, inappropriate, like,
bruh.
So,
no,
yeah. So I stepped back. I said, I can't work with you without integrity. And I stepped back. And then, I had a couple of comedians say, well, can you help me set up some shows? Like, my little town doesn't have any, doesn't ever has any comedy shows or anything. I know the owner of this bar, this, that, and the other. You're like, all right, let's do it. So I started Fox Valley Comedy, kind of out of that, about 3 years ago, and just started going to the open mics in the area, Skyline Comedy Club, and there's some open mics at some other restaurants and bars and things like that, and started getting to know the guys in the area, and then going down to open mics in Madison and Milwaukee and Chicago, and then started booking shows, and then started my list of comedians that I like and don't like, and learning more about comedy and like how to set up a show, personalities that do well together on a show and don't, the importance of a host.
Yes.
Starting the show right. Like,
right.
Some people will book only book like an amateur to open. Well, you're the opener. You open the show as the host, but they may not have the skills yet, or the personality, or the energy to get the show warmed up. You got to get the people into it. You got to connect with them. There's different tricks. And in longer comedians are in comedy, they they learn those tricks, how to connect with the crowd, how to be successful, how to warm them up. And so
I'm you know what, I'm going to back up. And I'm only backing up to say this. We didn't say what you do. So that's perfect. So let's go. Let's just take this moment to say, Kyle,
I know
what do you do? Wait. No, quit looking at that. Quit looking at that sheet, because the sheet throws you off. This is a conversation.
That's what I was about to say. We got notes, but I'm just rolling with it.
You roll. So, Kyle, we're going to take a moment real quick here. Kyle, who else are you? You run Fox Valley
Comedy.
Yes. We just need to get that out there officially because, we were going down this road and we got to make sure the Kosh listeners know, we got to make sure the Kosh listeners know where were we going? And that's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I thought you introduced my company, but
wait. I try not to because what I want to do is I think every individual gets the opportunity to introduce themselves how they want. And so I only mention the things once they're mentioned.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Fox Valley Comedy, we book basically productions, Fox Valley Comedy Productions. We, main thing we do, I book shows, ongoing shows at like 4 different locations here in the Fox Valley right now. A Bare Bones Brewery on the north side of town. They just opened a brand new, beautiful tap room in downtown Menasha. And city of Menasha has spent a lot of money making that really nice and bougie and cute down there, downtown Menasha, cleaning it up. Because Menasha, I don't know what you think, but I think Menasha has a bad connotation, just a word, they call it Matrasha. Like if you look on the crime maps, like the east side of the river, there's some rough neighborhoods.
There is no rough neighborhoods in Menasha. I refuse to let people say things like that.
Okay, when I say rough, I'm not talking about a vice lords, like. I know how to speak Milwaukee. All right. Wait. I'm not talking. So I used to take, when I was a rawhide, I used to take boys home on home visits in northside Milwaukee, and I was the only white person for miles. Like, and I felt like, and we're going to these neighborhoods, and there's all these older guys just sitting on their porches staring at us as we're driving into their neighborhood.
Where they want to know who the hell you are.
Yeah, well, there's a reason like the gangs buy rent and buy all the houses like in a cul-de-sac. If somebody comes in there, you just block. They don't leave unless you want them to leave. Like it's so the gang control down there, is concerning and scary. But like we don't have as much of that, but we have everything. We have everything else like. Sex trafficking. You look on the crime rap, Menasha, it's all drugs, theft, battery, and they all go together. The battery and the theft is because of the drugs, or is makes things worse because of people that are tripped out on the drugs and everything like that, and it's all connected. Like so people talk bad about. I feel like people, not being a native here, I feel like people talk bad about Matrasha and Stinky Kakana.
Well, they definitely do. I just always think like for the area, that's just one of those things. Like it ain't even that serious. Like really, is there that big of a difference between Nina and Menasha, or is that just one of those things where people need someone to look down upon and therefore? Right? Because you don't know where it stops or ends. It all blends together. You drive through it, and it's all the same to me.
Well, honestly, I think it's somebody said the word spotty. I think Oshkosh is that way too. Like we have a couple really nice like historical streets. People keep up their houses, and then a couple, next street over. I'll tell you about me coming to Oshkosh. The first apartment I toured, it was right over here on CP. We walk in, and it's upstairs of an old house, and it was like I don't know what you call that. It was like a fun house. Like the floor was so crooked, leaning. Like we walked in, and we felt this weird vibes, and I don't know. So, Oshkosh has all that too. Oshkosh has gang activity, sex trafficking.
See, I'm gonna argue against that because here's my thing: there are no gangs here. There are no gangs in Menasha. There are no gangs in Oshkosh. There are people that are saying that they're a something. There's something. That is not a gang. That is a group of young people who want to call themselves something, but by no means they aren't doing anything.
Right.
They're just gathering. So they need an identity. You know what that is? That's identity filtering. There's such things as real gangs. Real gangs are an enterprise. They're not like sloppy. They just don't hang out to hang out. Like they're actually profitable. They do things. They know what they're doing. But this stuff that happens in Northeast Wisconsin, I am tired of them calling themselves, trying to say like there's gangs here. You know what? When was the last time that there was actually something you read in the paper that was gang related that was harmful? It never happens. And that's why they're not gangs. Think about that. So I'm just putting that out there for all the people that think that there's gangs in Northeast Wisconsin. They're just kids hanging out who want you to acknowledge their existence. They are not gangs. Otherwise, you would be reading about it in the paper regularly. Think about it. Just my opinion.
Sure. So there's an increase of graffiti in Oshkosh. There's an increase of drive-by shootings, in the streets that have project housing, county housing,
Yes.
Cherry, Wisconsin, things like that.
Yes.
A lot of those are families that, didn't grow up here.
I definitely think that Oshkosh has a socioeconomical divide. There's Oshkosh is the haves and the have-nots, and then there's the middle class in between. But even the middle class usually isn't a have more than a have-not situation. So yeah, I get that. But you're right. There's these sections. Yeah, that's fair.
And I think it has to do with affordable rental properties. It's easy for them to slide in. They need to get out. They need to get out of the big city. For whatever reason. There's a million reasons people get out of Milwaukee, Chicago.
Yeah,
I'm not going to assume any of them. But a lot of it is to escape. Either escape, because they don't want that life. They don't want to be around that stuff. Or they got in trouble and they need to get out of town. Like, I've seen both with, families that I know.
Definitely. I think people move for the same reason that everybody moves, right? There's, you need more opportunity, jobs. You need an affordable cost of living for the quality of life. You want good schools. You want safety. I mean, at the end of the day, for the basics, we all kind of search out the basics. There's not a whole lot of difference in there about what we're looking for. I think we get just as many individuals that migrate from rural areas also. And a lot of people may not get this, but I personally don't see that much difference between city people that migrate to here from urban areas and people that migrate here from rural areas, because they're kind of looking for the same thing. That's just my thought process.
Bruh. Yeah.
You ready to jump into the
Yes,
first
sir.
segment?
Let's do it.
Because we
First, are we ready to start this podcast?
yeah, because I'm not even gonna lie, we haven't even started.
I just walked all over your agenda.
No. It's good.
Well, no, I like it though. Like, definitely, you got some things for me to think about, and I like to be challenged, and because I care. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, people are like, oh, you come from Portland. Portland's not diverse, or whatever. I'm like, are you serious? Like, yeah, just because my neighbors weren't black, like, the neighbors next to me were Japanese. Like, their parents came from Japan, immigrated.
Right.
Across the street, we're Mexican family. Down the street, Argentinian family. Next to them, Chinese. Next to them, Russian family. Next to them, another white family. Like, people I worked first jobs in Portland. I worked with like two Olgas, a train, from Vietnam, and Miguel. No white people, like. So I love diversity, and I grew up in that. I grew up in that. My wife grew up in the middle of Wisconsin, little, Dairyland, USA. Like, there's 3 black men in the whole town, and it's because they work for the Marshfield Clinic. Like, yeah. It's weird. I hate it. So,
no, I'm with that. But we can say that we now know because of this census that the game has shifted, and it's only going to continue to shift. So we
are all the stats out now?
Stats have been out, yes. Yeah. And there's other stats that actually the census doesn't measure, but there's definitely things that have to make what I would say is our local government, the people that have to be thoughtful about their planning for the area, to give them pause and say, ooh, okay, I feel like diversity is something that, like, in Northeast Wisconsin, minus Appleton. I will take minus Appleton out of the equation. I think diversity is something that has been, like, pushed against. Like, we don't really want to acknowledge, like, that we are becoming as diverse as we are becoming. We're gonna listen to the other loud voices, even though there's not many of them. It's saying that we don't want to acknowledge this, and therefore we're going to stay stagnant and be who we are and not move the needle or acknowledge the fact that there's a huge shift that has happened. But if you go look at the census numbers, it says some things. And then there's a number that always gets to me. That is, I heard more recently that our school district in the Oshkosh School District is 25% students of color. That means 1 out of 4. Think about that. If you ain't really thought about that, what 25% means like there's 4 students standing there and 1 is a student of color. And that tells you this. If 25% of the school district is students of color, that what we're going to look like in the next 5, 10, 15, and 20 years is going to be even more drastically different than what we look like now. And I've been here 30 years. So what we look like back in the early 90s to today is drastically different. Well, guess what? That trend is not changing. That trend is growing.
Do you know the old stats from 10 years ago?
No, I actually don't know the old stats, but I know this. It wasn't it wasn't 25% in the school district.
Well, I mean, I see it. I mean, my view is Oshkosh is really white. That's my view. And
it is, because if I was to guess, it's probably 80%. Probably 85%. And but it used to be 95.
Yeah, my old neighbors would agree with you. Like my neighbors who lived here their whole life, they're like, oh yeah, like there's more people of color than there used to be. I'm like, wow, that's weird. It's so weird
to say it out loud, to acknowledge it. It is. All right.
So what do you know about? There's a thing I've been seeing. I'm trying to find it. A couple of people I know have been campaigning against gerrymandering. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that something you were referring to as far as the government leads a change?
No. Gerrymandering is a whole nother ball of wax. And when I look at gerrymandering, I don't think of it from a very local government level, because I don't know how you gerrymander, to me, in my mind, something that is very homogenous. Right? But I think about it from more of a state level. Like, how are they gerrymandering our votes in that case? And it's happening. And this year, because of the census, this is the year where they're redistricting, and looking at those numbers.
Who's making those decisions?
Well, I don't. Here's what I can't
Probably
speak on.
A Senate committee.
No. I can't speak on it from Oshkosh because I don't know. But I can tell you what I'm experiencing in my current position in Appleton is there's people within the local government who actually look at the different districts, but they do it differently. They have older people who are over districts, and therefore they look at the districts and the people, and they shift and move things accordingly, right? And that's I don't want to act like I know, but that's what I know.
Sure.
But as far as Wisconsin goes as the bigger state, that is really the bigger question: is how do they redistrict? Because it's always that push pull of let's try to shove as many people as possible in this so that their influence does not leak out aside of these lines, or to give this other population greater influence. So we're going to spread them and shrink one so that these votes that might be in this area, and then we will spread the influence of these other votes and give it greater influence. So I do think some of that is definitely being looked at. I just don't know at the local level for Oshkosh how it's getting done. So you know what? I would like to invite anyone from the city of Oshkosh who has anything to do with that. If you'd like to come on the Kosh and help share and teach us, what are we doing in Oshkosh for our redistricting? I would love to have that conversation, and I'm sure there's others who would love to hear the conversation.
Yeah, that was my understanding, that it's on more of a state level, and to redistrict. And the people I know that are involved with campaigning to make that change are in Green Bay and in Madison, but I think we're working with state officials.
Yes. All right. So I don't even know, man. I feel like, do we cover any of the things? Do we go through any of the segments, or do we just keep having the conversation? Because the conversation is good. This could just be something that's very different for the Kosh.
Sure.
Kyle, you just do Kyle. Because I'm not going to lie, you've covered really good stuff. It's interesting. But I think people might want to know a few things.
Sure.
All right, so here, we're gonna get on track for a quick second here. First segment, what in the world is going on with, is where you have the opportunity to tell us what's going on, what in the world is going on with. You start with the phrase, you end with what's on your mind. What in the world is going on with?
What in the world is going on with October? I love October. I love the fall leaves, Halloween. My birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I turn 40 something tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, hey, happy birthday, man.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We will accept all gifts for Kyle at the Kosh. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I just love this time of year. Before 2 days ago, I love the weather. It's slightly cool in the mornings, and it gets like 65, 70 during the day. It's like, to me, that's perfect. I love it. So now the last couple of days, it's pretty chilly. It's been getting like 20s and 30s at night, but even today, it's like, it's cool outside, but the sun's out. And so after this, I'm going to the farmer's market. It's like, I love this time of year. That's where we buy our pumpkins and anything like that. We just made some squash soup, the other day. It was awesome.
I'm with you on the farmer's market. My biggest disappointment, I quit going to the farmer's market when my favorite place, Mexican food truck, disappeared. And so therefore, but I used to go every morning to go get this burrito, because this burrito was it could walk on water as far as I'm concerned. That was a bad burrito. And all of a sudden they just quit showing up.
Oh no. Yeah. Is it the one in front of New Moon?
Yes. That's the one. That is the one.
I noticed they were there a couple times this summer, and then a few times they weren't there.
Well, they didn't show up on rainy days, which I respected. But for the most part, they were there most of the time. But it started probably about 6 weeks ago. They just quit showing up. And I was like, that was what I looked forward to. I looked forward to all week showing up Saturday morning at the farmer's market to go get this burrito.
Yeah, they always had like a minimum of like a dozen people in line, 15 sorry 12 15 people in line at all times. That's like a lot of times I didn't go there just because I didn't want to wait in line. But there's another really good food truck, taco truck, Los Tres Manatios, that it's usually parked on the side Church Street.
Yes,
I love everything their tamales, their tacos, their nachos, everything. And they're a good family too. And I've always kind of kept their card just in case if I ever have an event I need catered. Like definitely, I'd love to have them. So,
all right.
But last year I used to love to do. I guess maybe it was 2019, and before. There's a little Hmong family that would make crepes. I love to go down there for crepes for breakfast, and then they stopped showing up last year. So I'm like, because that was our tradition for breakfast, to go get crepes at the market.
That sounds yummy.
Yeah. So that's a need somebody needs to fill. And I've thought about it. Been a little grill, whatever, going down there, making a few extra bucks on a Saturday morning. I'm like, I don't have time for anything else. Like what I do is exactly the amount of time that I have to do what I'm already committed to. I don't have time to take on anything else, like too much right now. So
you're a busy man. You got a lot going on. All right. Okay. Let me say, what in the world is going on with is what is going on with electronic tickets. I'm an old school dude. I want old school tickets because you know what? If I don't use the tickets, I want to be able to give people a physical ticket. I don't want to have to text them a ticket. I miss good old fashioned tickets. Now, the reason this comes up is because I am a season ticket holder for the Herd. Shout out to the Herd. Shout out to the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? To those champions. But you know what? Look, I know it's not environmentally good. I know it's not how we do things today. But I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to force us to do electronic tickets because there is, what if you don't got a phone? What if you broke? So you trying to say, because I'm broke and maybe somebody's going to give me some tickets. Maybe somebody's going to be kind to me and share some tickets with me. But because I can't afford a phone, I can't go. That ain't right. Right? I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
Can you print them off on cardstock?
I don't think you can print them off. I
gotta check. So I just bought some Packer tickets for the Seattle game from my buddy, and his wife just emailed me the link or whatever. I said, no, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's just one of those things. So electronic tickets, look, I get it. I love it as an option. I've done it. It's not bad, but I do think there's a little bit of a socioeconomic bias to it, right? Because if you don't have a phone, if you're too, and what if you are somebody, you work hard and like, let's say somebody gifted you some tickets, but you only offer electronic tickets. They can't even gift you the tickets. That sucks.
I feel like there's a barcode or a QR code on the tickets where you can print them out and then you can just take that and they scan that. Like they scan your phone.
Okay.
So I think there's a way around it.
There's a way around it.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw.
If there's a confirmation, there's always a confirmation code too. Just take that confirmation code to the box office and they confirm your, with your ID, you show your ID or whatever. I don't know. I think there's a way to confirm.
I'm going to throw that out there to, if we got Herd listeners out there, go on and hook us up with that knowledge and tell us, how do you make that work for somebody in case they don't have the technology? All right.
Have the Herd started yet?
Not yet.
A couple weeks?
Well, by the time this podcast comes out, they will. That's the key. We talk in real time, but it's published it's published a week or two later. So that's how it goes. Okay,
Awesome.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
We're ready to jump in. Segment 2, word associations. First word, food.
Well, crepes.
Oh,
We were just talking about crepes, so that's an easy one.
yeah.
Yeah, my family Christmas morning. There's a tradition. I always make crepes Christmas morning. We don't make them too much more, than that. The crepes in the restaurant are a little blah. So homemade crepes from the farmer's market or at home are pretty awesome. Yeah. I did like food and beverages. I always think of my business partners, Fox Valley Comedy. We partner with Bare Bones Brewery, Appleton Beer Factory, and they have awesome food and drinks, and I just love the food up at Appleton Beer Factory, Bare Bones Brewery, their new tap room in downtown Menasha. They just expanded their food menu. They have really tasty treats, as well as their craft beer, and their son just started a distillery called Tight Barrel Distilling right there downtown Menasha. So they have a lot of awesome homemade spirits right there in downtown Menasha, and so I was hoping I could get some. I didn't get up there in time. I was hoping to get some Tight Barrel vodka for Bloody Mary this morning, but I didn't make it up there. And then I usually don't I think it's a good thing. I usually don't buy liquor on Saturday mornings. so on my way here, I went to Pick and Save, and I was there at like 7:45,
right?
And they're like, you can't buy liquor until 8 a.m. I'm like, oh, so I just waited there for 15 minutes and texted you, can I be 10 minutes late?
Fair enough. Cocktail or beer?
I think I love both. And also it just kind of depends on the situation, the environment, and the time of year. Like right now, I love to drink. Again, I have business associations with breweries, so I love taste testing all the Oktoberfest right now, like September, October, at all the local breweries. Fifth Ward, Bare Bones, Barrel 41, Lion's Tail, Appleton Beer Factory. I like to try all the local craft Oktoberfests. And Fox River. I think Fox River is my favorite this year. Last year, Appleton Beer Factory's Oktoberfest was my favorite. This year, because they'll vary.
Yeah,
I know that's real snobby to say.
No, that's just being a beer connoisseur.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but I definitely love cocktails. And what's funny is when I met my wife, who is from Wisconsin, I'm from Portland. Like I never drank beer, never. And the first real, I think when I was a kid, someone's house, I tried a little bit, like blah, like so never had a taste for it. But like my first year, I went to a Brewers game, and like my brother-in-law got us into. It used to be called like the 300 Club. It's like a private. You can get a ticket and then pay an extra like $30 to get into this private club.
Yes,
and it's awesome because it's a patio that jets out from like this third level or whatever,
right?
And table seating, and you got waiter and waitresses the whole time, and you can eat and drink as much as you can pay for. And but my brother-in-law kept bringing me a spotted cow, and I just kind of sip on it. It's smooth, it's light, it's a little bit sweet. And so that's my first introduction to drinking like craft beer. And I don't think it's craft anymore. They're so successful, and people know them out of state now.
No, Spotted Cow is
Glarus.
Like, yeah, I think it's just it's a good quality beer.
Yeah, it's best. I think it's best on tap, cold in a chilled glass on tap. At a restaurant with dinner. That's what I love it. but definitely I drink my thicker stuff, and I actually like barrel aged like bourbon barrel, Maplewood barrel aged ales, beers. Like so, Ruby Owl downtown, they always have an awesome selection. Every week they have something new, and I like to go in and try the new kind of beers and they bring them in from all over, but mostly all over Wisconsin, some out of state, but so they do a good job having a good selection of local Fox Valley beers, Wisconsin beers, and then a few out of the region. But yeah, my favorite bartender down there, Will, he just took the new food manager position at the brand new bougie Gibson Social Club. Have you seen that?
I've heard.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting for an invite. Gibson Social Club, you need to go on and invite us there.
Well, you know what? You should ask Will to be on your podcast and then just do the podcast there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
We travel. We're not about that.
It's right down the street.
I know it's right down the street. Look,
it's really,
I've been there.
It's really interesting.
I was there before it was Gibson's.
Yeah.
Let's just say, it's
the
been
Crescent
around,
Moon.
Yeah, when there's been other things, I have been there.
Yeah, they gutted that place and then rebuilt it. And it's
pretty
really
awesome.
Just the vibe of it, the feel of it. You walk in,
Awesome.
It's fun. Like, they mainly built it. I think mainly designed a bigger space with the type of seating that they have for bigger wedding receptions and business Christmas parties, corporate events, things like that. But they have these cool little like balconies and little side rooms where you can just get away from the big room and go, have a quiet place to talk with your friends, and they have like 5 or 6 different little nooks where you can go into the little side rooms, and they have nice little furniture, whatever. You can just hang out, get out of the big room, and but Will is fantastic, and Will is actually an amateur stand-up comedian. And I had him on a show about a week and a half ago at Bare Bones Oshkosh. So, and that show was awesome. I had 6 different comedians, and I kind of like that. I like the format of having 4 or more. Like the old traditional format of stand-up comedy is, the old school is you have an opener and a closer.
Right.
One guy does 30, 40 minutes, and one guy does an hour. I think with the ADHD nation, I'm talking about myself, the attention spans with media and everything else. I think the format of, comedians with shorter time, more comedians with shorter time is a better show. Like, in my opinion, and producers disagree with me, but that's what I like to do. That's how I run things a lot of the time, unless I have like a major headliner that is A class. And I've had a few open doors this year as the last 2 years, as things have gotten better. I try to treat people well, treat the comedians well, with integrity, and pay them justly, and just take care of them when they come in town and visit. They tell their comedian friends and producers about Fox Valley comedy, and we've got some bigger names that coming through from LA and New York, and they're coming through Wisconsin because they got booked in Chicago and Milwaukee, but they got a free night and a free Thursday. They're here a day before their headlining weekend, and I've been able to bring them up to Oshkosh and Appleton and Menasha.
I want to give so much credit to Lyle here, because I'm not gonna lie, it is not just us two here having this conversation. There is Bosco, our podcast dog, who is here for almost every episode. I'm sure that some of you have heard Bosco in a few episodes, and Bosco, for whatever reason, loves Lyle. He has been sitting here licking Lyle and hanging out with Lyle in the chair next to him, and Lyle has not missed a beat. So I just want to give a shout out to Bosco, the podcast dog, and Lyle for not missing the beat, while Bosco is like, hey, can you give me a treat or something, because I'm that dude. He's ruthless too. So, all right. Streaming.
Right now, the shows, you mean like TV shows?
Yes.
Right. I like to do right now, weekly stuff that's on actually TV that we stream like a few days later, a week later. Watch The Rookie, watch Equalizer, watch Blacklist, and they all kind of have like a espionage, FBI, kind of like spy theme. I think that's kind of stuff I'm into right now. So I finished some other things. I know, like Mayor Lori's podcast episode. She said she was watching The Americans. I watched that a couple years ago. That was fantastic. Like, and there's a comedian I work with whose wife is Russian, and it seems like she's out of town a lot. And so I always tease him that he's married to a sleeper spy.
Shop local.
I love Shop Local. We are members of the brand new co-op here in town, and it's fantastic. We have some friends and associates that helped start that, and involved with that a little bit with fundraising and things like that. So we try to do make a trip there, a couple times a month, and then supplement it with farmers market, and then we'll also hit the other grocery stores for anything else that we can't. Yeah. There's a few things you can't get at farmers market or co-op, but
yes,
but the basics, like they have just high quality food, like local, and then it's a better place to find like higher quality, like organic stuff too. Like, I know I'm sorry.
No.
Like one of your questions is, what does the Kosh need? Well, when I moved here, people are like, there's a rumor we're going to get a Trader Joe's. Like, it's, that never happened. Like, so like growing up in, tree hugging Pacific Northwest, definitely a lot more, availability to, or, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's.
Did you say tree hugging?
Yeah. So that's kind of that's what we are. We're tree huggers. So, more access to organic foods and things like that. Now every grocery store is slowly incorporated either a section or they just incorporate it into their aisles. There's a lot of more organic options, the last 10 years in the regular grocery stores, Festival, Pick and Save, whatever. So, but, Shop Local, like I said, farmers market, co-op are the number one places. We love it. It's just good. It's better and it's fresh without preservatives. Like, we get, but here's the thing too, I'm sure you have a lot of friends that are like gluten intolerant.
If they are, they ain't telling me. That's what I'm gonna say. Look, for all my gluten intolerant friends, you need to go on and tell me, because if you eating at the Smith household, we don't know nothing about that gluten free life. Yeah. I'm old school.
Right. It just seems like all of a sudden the last few years, like people are gluten intolerant, and there's reasons for that, and the way they make food, genetically modify food and things like that, whatever. So I don't want to get into that. But my friend's wife is gluten intolerant. She can't have freaking bread, nothing. Like,
I've met people like that.
Oh, I can't imagine that. That's all I live on is bread. So,
you must be related to my wife, because she's the bread queen.
Yeah. So, but at the farmers market, a place that they've developed their business, I think mostly through the farmers market, and now they have a location, is a Thunderbread Bakery here in Oshkosh.
Oh, yes.
He was saying the way their sourdough process is that people with gluten-free intolerance can eat their sourdough bread. And like her friends were like, his wife was so happy she cried. Like, for the first time in like 15 years, she could have cinnamon rolls because they're made out of sourdough bread. Or whatever.
What I will say is that shout out to Nicole out there, because, like, girl, I know you listening. We have been asked to bring on Thunderbird bread. And so, like, Thunderbird bread, if you're out there listening, we would love to have you as guests. We'd love to talk about your business and your product and learn more about it, because there has been requests by more than one person, and you have been brought up more than one time. So we'd love to have you. So, to sourdough bread. Okay. Halloween.
I love it just to dress up and have fun.
Are you dressing up this year?
I don't I don't know. I haven't decided. I was thinking about being Forrest Gump.
Ooh,
I'm just
wait.
kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you see, you're messing with me. Because which Forrest were you gonna be? Were you gonna be? Would you like to be running Forrest?
No.
Because, no, you don't want to be that Forrest.
No, I don't want a scratchy beard.
Or maybe you could be young Forrest.
Which Forrest are you going to be?
Well, see, I was gonna be end of the telling the story Forrest, bench Forrest, because
But that's how you dress for work every day.
Well, look.
Plaid shirt, I've seen you. Plaid shirt, bow tie, khakis.
Well, no, I don't do khakis. Actually, now that I have a new dress code, which is called Dress for Your Day. I love this Dress for Your Day. Can I just say this to the city of Appleton for coming up with this whole Dress for the Day thing? So no, my new and what most people don't probably know is I'm actually a minimalist. I'm actually minimalist at my heart, and so what Dress for Your Day is for me is I do wear the same thing every day, but I don't wear the same color every day. But it literally is the same thing. So it literally is almost the same shirt, a pair of jeans, the same pair of Timberlands, which I have multiple pairs of in different colors, and a bow tie. That's it. That's Timber's dress code every day for work. And I can dress it up or dress it down depending on what is called for in my day. But that is totally what I am doing. I'm dressing for the day. So yes, but you know what? I don't wear any plaid. I don't own any plaid, actually. Not that I'm against plaid. If I was going to call it, I'm very favorable upon flannel. I like soft, warm flannel. I used to have some, but then, flannel is one of those things that somehow you have it for like 10 years and then it magically disappears from your house. I'm going to blame that on the wife. That's one of those things that your wife probably throws away and she doesn't tell you she's throwing it away because she's sick of you wearing it and seeing you in it. Like it starts to look like you, and it probably just starts to show up on the couch when you don't even show up on the couch. So I do think that happens sometimes. Yeah. But there was some flannel that I had that I don't know where it's at anymore.
Hey, so for your forest outfit, just go down to Vinny's. Go down to St. Vincent de
St.
Paul's
Vinny's, all right.
dress store. You'll find plenty of dress shirt plaids.
Right, that I need. I need a dress shirt plaid if I'm gonna pull off this Forrest Gump for this year. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna put it out there to the Kosh. If you would like to see Timber as Forrest Gump this Halloween, I need to hear from you. You're going to have to go on and send me messages or send me an email at askthekosh@gmail.com. That is askthekosh@gmail.com. If you would like to see those pictures as Timber as Forrest Gump.
Do you already have your bubblegum shrimp hat?
No, I got to order that. But it's on Amazon. So since I am a member of Amazon and I do have the good membership, I believe it can be here in 3 days. That's my hope.
You gotta stop procrastinating. You gotta get that.
Yeah, I know. And look, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been toying around with this whole thing. Like I have the outfit picked out, but I just haven't moved on it. All right.
Yeah. So I have a show coming up, the October 28th at Appleton Beer Factory. So a gal that works with me, she runs the front door, hosts the front door, takes tickets. She used to work at Comedy Club for 8 years, and she's like, "We're gonna dress up, right? We're gonna dress up for Halloween." Like, sure, I'm game. And so we were talking to the waiters and waitresses and bartenders at Appleton Beer Factory. So they're all I'll let them decide. They're all gonna do like a Marvel superhero kind of a theme.
I'm all about that.
So they're like if somebody picks one, they're checked off the list. You can't be that one. They're like, I'm like, well. She's this, he's that. What are you going to be? I'm like, well, how about Deadpool? Like, he's funny. Like, well, he's not technically Marvel. I'm like,
wait.
If I Google Deadpool,
he is Marvel.
Well, I guess like for the nerds out there, like he wasn't like the character wasn't developed by like a Marvel writer, but then they bought the rights to it.
Yeah,
and they produced the movie, whatever.
No, I have Deadpool comics. Deadpool was Marvel. there's.
I don't know. Somebody was arguing with. I have to find out more.
Look, I'm not gonna argue with.
I didn't argue with you. I ordered the T-shirt off of Amazon. I got my Deadpool T-shirt.
But I literally have Deadpool series from when I was collecting comics back in '92. Deadpool is Marvel. I'm not saying he originated from Marvel. I'm just saying, quit it. Stop it, y'all. Stop it. Look, if Deadpool has been Marvel for over 30 years, and he has, just stop it. Stop it. There's always those people out there that want to, they want to poke the hole in it. Look, I get that your geekdom is great, and maybe my geekdom does not compare. But
right?
But Deadpool has been under Marvel for 30 years. I'm not trying to hear y'all.
Right. Okay, I agree with you. So I'm like, I just said whatever. I'm being Deadpool anyways. So
yeah.
So it's actually a really exciting show. I have I call it Chicago Comedy Invasion because I'm bringing up 3 really hot, as in like all like shining bright, like rising stars of comedy out of the Chicago scene. That's awesome. These 3 comedians are they're regulars at the Laugh Factory, Comics You Should Know, House of Blues.
What day is that?
So it's a Thursday, October 28th at Appleton Beer Factory. So I'll put you on the comp list if you want to come. So if particular wife out for a date.
I know she's not gonna come. That don't mean I'm not gonna come. Sure. So yeah, look, baby, is. I know I would take you, but this whole thing called work. Right.
So I know we have some mutual friends that plan on coming to that. So
okay, cool. I want to come.
Yeah, it just so happened to be 3 females, which are very hard to find
in comedy.
Yeah, like it's 200 to 1 males versus female comedians. Like,
okay, I'm excited now.
So I'm always trying to, I meet somebody who is hilarious. I'm always trying to, hey, you should come to open mic. Try your jokes out.
Yes,
promote female comedians because there's not a ton of them. And so, but a show is better, in my opinion. A show is better if you have, with a female comedian. The crowds love it. Like, they're tired of sausage fest, like all white, white male comedians. Like people are tired of that. Like I know I'm tired of that. So I try not to do that very often. Like, but I have a million white male comedians that are hilarious that I love. But, so I always try to create, have diverse. Sometimes the show's not diverse, but more so if you look at our shows this year.
Yeah.
I mean, our last show,
was it hot?
Female Hispanic gal. Pratik, he's Indian, as is from India. Who else was on that show? Yeah, Kristen. Yeah, she's a pasty white.
You didn't just call her pasty. Why she gotta be pasty? I can't even touch that one.
Yeah, so I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll touch it.
That is hilarious.
But so try to find create more diverse shows. And
I love that. I appreciate that.
But it's you got to work at it. Because it's not. I mean, we're in Central. We're in.
We're
where we live.
We're in Northeast Wisconsin. Yeah. We know where we're at. Yeah, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Other show I want to tell you about.
Okay.
In November, the 12th, again down the street here, Main Street, Oshkosh, Time Community Theater.
Ooh.
Do you know who the most famous Oshkosh native is?
No.
Who's had the most success in
comedy?
In entertainment.
Hornswoggle?
Yeah. we have a show called An Evening with Hornswoggle. So Dylan Postel, he actually has done this show in other states.
Okay.
Where he's fun. He's got jokes, but more so he has hilarious stories of his 10 years in Hollywood with WWE, making movies.
Right. No, I would actually think he's probably
he's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so there's a comedian I work with named Mike Stricker out of Chicago who has opened for him for those shows, like some of those shows like down in Indiana and Illinois.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing him back up for that. And I got a couple other comedians too. So it's a full, like 4 comedians or 3 comedians are going to open for him.
When's that happening?
November 12th. It's Friday, November 12th. Tickets are on sale right now at foxvalleycomedy.com. And we've already sold like 70 tickets, which is pretty good. 2 months away. Well, now we're only like a few weeks away.
Okay.
So,
now we're going to say this later on in the show, but I need people to understand how, because people are going to listen. They're going to be like, hey, I would like to see that. And then we need to hook them up.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. All right. Well, you know what? We kind of covered Oshkosh hidden gems, but do you got anything else?
Well, I don't. So for me, where I grew up, how I grew up, I appreciate funky things, vintage things. So it amazes me again down the street here. Atomic Cats.
Oh yeah, Atomic Cats.
I love going in there. There's always something funky, and you know what? Some of those shirts haven't sold in the last 10 years. It's the same, but
I
she
bought
new stuff.
I bought a leisure suit from Atomic Cats that is the flyest thing ever. Once again, if you'd like to see Timber in the leisure suit, because I do own it, and it's one of my favorite Halloween outfits.
What do you mean Halloween? You don't wear that to work?
Wait, here's the funny thing. Have I worn it to work? When I worked at the university, I totally wore it to work. We had a record theme one time for homecoming, and if you didn't think I busted that thing out, I busted it out, man. I hurt people's feelings because it was like, why is that so clean? I was like, Atomic Cats, man.
Right. I got a couple of I guess they're leisure suit, just the tops. They look like a coat almost. They're such thick, like polyester with the light stitching. Oh, and the flared out collar.
Yeah,
I love that style with the flare. I love the old fabric things that were made for men, fine men's clothing in the 60s and 70s. Is so awesome. It's higher level fabrics. It just feels better.
Wait, you know why?
Quality.
It lasts forever
Because it wasn't made by child slaves in China.
Well, I was just gonna say because theoretically, polyester lasts forever. Stuff never wrinkles, and it will be around in 2089. Right. Leisure suits that were built in 1970 will be around in 2089. They don't go nowhere.
Right. So to me, that's a hidden gem. I love that. It's just stepping in a whole different world and going there. And sometimes I forget about it, and I drive by. I'm like, I haven't been in there. Wow, I need to go in there. But I just as my normal dress. I like to find a nice shirt in there, and I'll wear whatever pants, shoes with it, hat, whatever with it. But I love hidden gems. Not necessarily hidden, but I love the river restaurants. So I love in the summertime. 3 blocks from my house, I can walk down to maybe 4 blocks. Walk down the Fox River Brewing Company. They're on the Fox River. People, old school people call it Fratello's.
Yes, I call it Fratello's.
Right, I still call it Fratello's.
Yeah, I call it Fratello's.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the best things. I just love going down there, eating out there on the lawn with the river and the breeze and the boats going by. Oh, another thing, another hidden gem. It's a brand new business that just started. Good people. It's called Midwest Boat Rentals, and they're just on the other side of the river from Fox River, just slightly to the south. But you can rent pontoons and jet skis, and my family surprised me for Father's Day, and they knew me. I don't want junk. Right. I don't want cars. I don't want gifts. I want an experience.
Ooh.
And so that was the best Father's Day ever. We rented 2 jet skis.
That's awesome.
We took the kids on them. And we were cruising on the Fox River. We went down into the Lake Winnebago, and we could just cruise and just look at the mansions and people that have more money than us, and like, oh, there's the pirate park where we go play with the kids and, go down and see the city from a different view. Going underneath the train bridge is wild. Like on the jet ski, and then you hit the Winnebago and you light it up. And my little girl, she was a little intimidated at first. Like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, this is just like the 4-wheeler we've ridden on, but it's on the water. Do I always keep you safe? Yes. Okay, we do. I want you to trust me. We trust me. We're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
I'll go. You want me to go slow? Yes, I'll go slow. Okay, went slow. And she saw the park she played at, and she said, "Oh, there's Fratello's where we go eat." Oh yeah. And then she started to feel comfortable. But as soon as I got on the lake and I lit it up, I went full
throttle.
Speed, full throttle. She was like, she had the biggest grin. She's like, yeah, faster, Daddy, faster. Like, and then like 3 times she goes, this is the best day ever.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Even water scares me, so
yeah. So, and we didn't even when I threw the kids on my wife's jet ski and I did some little spins and tricks I didn't even get thrown off. So, but you wear a life vest the whole time, so you're safe. And,
yeah.
So Midwest rental, like that's Midwest Boat Rentals, I think it's called. They're really good people. We actually found out we have some connection with like social services and foster care.
Okay.
With that family. So,
hey, shout out to Midwest Boat Rentals. We always want to shout out the local, and so I think that's important. But that sounds good. All right. Well, you know what? Even though I am not a fan of water, if I can Midwest Boat Rental a pontoon, maybe we can holla.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Well, here's the thing. They're a little spendy, but if you get like 3 or 4 friends, you split the cost. All of a sudden, the $500 fee, it's only like $150 or whatever, $175 per couple to go. Yeah. You can take a grill, you take a cooler full of beverages.
That's right.
Beverages.
Yeah, that's right.
Go find a sandbar.
I don't look. If I do it, I need a captain because Timber's not Captain Timber. That is not what I'm not. Yeah.
So on your podcast, has anyone ever asked you how you got your name Timber?
Oh yeah, people ask all the time. That is one of the most mysterious and intriguing things ever. And if my wife was here right now, she would tell you that she doesn't even know how I got the name Timber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's one of those things.
Your parents never said?
Well, it wasn't. I did not become Timber until I got to Oshkosh.
Oh, it's a nickname.
It is a nickname.
Oh, you know what? I almost wore a Portland Timbers t-shirt.
You know what? Here's the great thing. I actually have the scarf. There's the Portland Timbers has these great scarves that is Timbers Army. Yep. No pity. Uh-huh. I have one of these scarves.
They're hardcore.
Yes, they are so hardcore.
My sister took my dad to a game. She told me about it. She took my dad when they restarted a few years ago, and the whole time they sat right behind the Timber Army, and the whole time they were standing. They couldn't see the game. They were standing up the whole game. Yeah. And any kind of card, red card, or whatever, the pullover, they'd start these inappropriate chants. F you refs, F you ref. The whole stadium. F you ref.
Not Timbers Army. Timbers Army would not do that.
The Midwest Timber Army. It's like, gosh darn you, ref. Gosh darn you.
Yeah. No. The Milwaukee Timbers Army is like, we got something to say to them refs.
Pop.
I'm just saying. Right. All right.
A conversation. It'd be fun to have a podcast conversation sometime about sports. So different stadiums.
Oh,
the way people act in different stadiums. I got a lot of stories.
Oh, well, maybe this is a 2-parter. We might need to come back. To this. What does the Kosh need?
I don't think it needs a lot. When I first came here, I don't know, 12, 13 years ago, there was talks about having a river walk someday, and that happened.
Yeah, it happened.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's so awesome. And if you do the whole thing, I mean, and almost any morning, there's minimal people. Like, I mean, there's the regulars, but it's not like crowded. It's in the middle of a city. It's such a peaceful place. It's beautiful. The river, there's something calming about water. Like, it's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that it happened. They're making things happen. So I'm actually on our neighborhood association committee, and so we're doing awesome things in our neighborhood. Up by the Payne Art Center, and so. We work with the city, but we get input. We get real input, like we're the legs that like make things happen too. So that's exciting, is to bring improvements to our neighborhood. And I think where you live, I think there's a neighborhood association here.
Yes, there is. There's totally Stevens Park.
Stevens Park, yeah.
Yeah, we're Stevens Park. Yeah, no, they go hard. I love this neighborhood. I've been in here 20 years, and it's just good people doing good things, and yeah.
Yeah. So what the Kosh needs, I wouldn't say a lot, honestly. But I do. So you grew up in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's the same size as the city I grew up in, Portland.
Okay. That sounds about right.
So I like to get out of Oshkosh, every couple of months. Just go spend even a day or a weekend in Milwaukee. I just like, because that's how I grew up, in a bigger city. So I just like going downtown Milwaukee, hanging out and things like that. And and I have some friends that have the comedy club down there, and I just volunteered at the Milwaukee Comedy Festival a couple weeks ago. It's so much fun, and I love all the craft breweries right down there. So. Laughing.
Your life is beers and laughs. Seriously, dude, you're living the light. Laughs
and lagers.
Laughs and lagers. I mean, seriously, you're living the greatest life ever. You giggle and then you get to drink beer.
Or if you drink beer first, you giggle more, right?
Facts.
Yeah. So, but yeah, So I love the craft beer scene here. Overall, I felt like it's a safe city. Like, I have no problem, walking at night, in my neighborhood, at least, because I know it, and there's a lot of good people that become like family to us, and, there's a lot of things going on. So I don't think Oshkosh needs much. The things that have improved are great. I hope the arena can last, because it just, being a small city, it's hard to financially uphold such an awesome arena like that.
I think we can do it.
I hope. That's my fear. My fear is that it's gonna go under.
I have supported it by buying both Ludacris and Nelly tickets and her tickets. So let me just say, I'm doing my part. Are you doing your part? Because I'm going to call that out there to the Kosh listeners. Are you doing your part to help our arena? Because you know what, Kyle, you are right. That is something special that a lot of communities our size don't necessarily have. And you know what? Do your part. Support.
Right.
Support. And for all y'all out there, don't front like you don't like a Nelly song. Somebody out there, y'all all have a Nelly song that you like. Go on and buy them Nelly tickets. I'll see you there.
Awesome.
I'm just saying. All right. Yeah. Naughty/Heroes Corner. What do you got going on?
I don't know if it's true, but I saw some comments that former President Trump said.
Oh, they're true.
About Colin Powell. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, it just blows my mind. Like, he, yeah. So it's just so inappropriate and ignorant, and it's upsetting.
Yes. Look, Colin Powell is like he's a hero, like straight up. I don't care what everybody thinks, and if people want to blame his little speech that he gave, that wasn't a speech he wanted to give. He took an order. He is a public servant in military, and when you're in the military, you take orders. You take orders that you don't necessarily believe in, because your job is to take the order and you execute. And he has always executed at a high level. He's always served America at the highest of high levels. And for somebody who hasn't served America, to come in and just diminish, say insulting things, that it hurts my soul. It truly, authentically pisses me off. And yeah, that's all I can say about this topic. But I would like to push it just one step further to say, for all of you out there, you know, I try to stay away from no, I really don't try to stay away from politics totally on the podcast, but for the most part, let's just go about humanity. For all of you out there who follow this leader who does these things to insult people who have truly given their life to this nation, where others have given their life to capitalism, I question, what are you following? I do. I just want to know. Once again, I never make statements without giving you the opportunity to make statements back. So if you'd like to say something about that, you got another view that you would like to argue against, you can send your opinions to ashthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is ashthekosh@gmail.com. But yeah, this one hit different to me. Like, I didn't like how he did John McCain. I definitely am appalled by how he did Colin Powell. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything we can do, but just ignore,
No, I don't want to ignore.
Bury it. Like, you just ignore. I mean, so there's old proverbs, there's old wisdom quotes talk about, it's better just to ignore a fool. Like, sometimes, but it's good to talk about it, like, to call him out. Like, no, to say no, to stand up for justice. No, what you're saying is wrong. It's ignorant. It's foolish. It's inappropriate. It's hateful. And we don't stand for that. But then, like, I don't want to give you any more news coverage on it either, because that's
true.
Because he knows how to.
Yeah, I don't want to give it.
He's He's a number one. He's a marketer.
he's gifted at that.
A marketer. That's why the biggest marketing companies in the world have cut him off. Facebook, Google, Twitter. They just cut him off. Nope, you don't get a Facebook.
Well, that's true. A lot of people don't think of it that way, but maybe that's something to be said, is that the fact that the biggest marketing opportunities have said, no, you've done too much. So sometimes maybe we need to actually listen to that. All right, I'm letting that go because that hit the soul. All right. Topic of the week. And we've been talking about it throughout this entire episode, but I don't think we done. At least I don't think you done. Right? The Fox Valley comedy scene. As you know, every week our guest gets the opportunity to pick the topic of the week. And this week, Kyle has chosen the Fox Valley comedy scene, which I am super excited about. And now that we've had this conversation, Kyle, I need tickets.
Right?
I need to see these people. I need to giggle more. And for the rest of you out there listening to Kosh Land, there is nothing more healing for the soul. We've been through things this pandemic, and let's laugh together. So Kyle, what you got to share with us?
Yeah, the Fox Valley comedy scene has been growing, the last, I'd say maybe, slowly the last maybe like 8 years. So there's been some open mics, at Skyline Comedy Club. And then a few of the comedians started open mics, in the Fox cities at some bars and different venues. And comedians have been growing. And then they're getting more opportunities to get booked by clubs and other shows. In Milwaukee, Madison, and then into Chicago, and then across the nation. A lot of people don't know there's some working professional comedians that grew up in Appleton, started in Appleton, and now like Mike Merrifield. He regularly, headlines clubs in Las Vegas and all over the United States. So there was another club that tried to start, Comedy Quarter. The old owners of Skyline. They had a falling out. One dude left, started Comedy Quarter. That lasted for a few years, and then that went bankrupt. But there's a scene that there's a lot of right now. There's a lot of local comedy at different venues. So, and my business does that. We'll bring a comedy show to a venue, and I love to work with craft breweries. Like I said, I love craft beer, so it just makes a lot of sense as craft breweries.
Wait, can I just ask a question real quick? So, the venues, are you only doing breweries?
No, we're doing time theater, and I've done other stuff, but I like working with the breweries, and that's where Big Open Door is right now for ongoing shows. So we have ongoing shows all the time, every 4 weeks at the 3 breweries, and then we do some special events at the Time Theater, and I can produce a show in any venue. Like I've done some corporate events, some bigger companies.
So real?
Yeah.
Ooh.
They have a get together for their employees or a special thing, and they want a comedian to come in and make everybody laugh. So I'll book them and book a comedian to go to them. And that's not my favorite.
Why?
Corporate world is not easy to deal with. They have a lot of expectations and
Bruh.
It's true. I hate to admit it, but it's so true.
Yeah, it's not my style. I started building out part of my business. Like, this is where we're going to expand. On my website, but hire a comedian and I put the minimal fee, like $100 less than the other person in the area will book a corporate comedy show for you just to kind of get my foot in the door. And I'll do it as, I'll consider it, but I'm not advertising that I'm going to do it anymore. Like I got, I like other things better. So, it's, and I'm not doing it about the money either. Like it really, the whole business, I don't profit, right now. The company's been in the black since day one. Like we've, even through 2020, we made money.
That's something to be proud of.
But and that's just keeping my expenses low.
Okay.
When we make money,
right,
I buy a better microphone, better mic stand, better speakers,
right,
better lights.
I get that.
Build up the website, get merch. So marketing was so hard during the pandemic. So that's why there's some things, two things I started doing that I didn't used to do. Podcast. So I used to get asked by this one guy to do his podcast all the time, and I'm like, dude, interview the comedians. Here's 3 comedians that I recommend. They're hilarious. They're entertaining. They like being, in front of the mic. Like they're used to it. Like I'm not funny. Like I'm behind the scenes kind of guy. I do everything else.
Right.
I take out the garbage. I do the website, do the marketing, do the advertising, do social media. Negotiate with the venue. I get there 4 hours early. I set up the lights. I set up the table. Set up the chairs. Set up the stage. Set up the microphones. Set the sound system. Do the light jack. Set up little tea lights on the table. It was like everything. Big as well. Whatever. Like comedians can come in, smooth, get a drink from the bar, go up on stage, have a low, no stress for me, be supported by me. So they can focus and have the best show because they don't have to worry about all the other crap. Like, so that's my goal. That's how I operate.
Yeah. I respect that.
Like, so I'm like, yeah, don't, but then all of a sudden, like, Facebook changed their algorithms. All of a sudden, like I wasn't getting as many, like even events, even paid advertisements on Facebook, wasn't getting as many hits. So I wasn't selling as many tickets, and then, COVID and quarantine, everything else. So I'm like, we need exposure. So I started working on just building out like a press release, email list. So just getting the right emails to be able to send to news stations and newspapers and radio stations and magazines and podcasts and all of that, and then let them know. Send out a press release every so often to let them know what's going on, what shows we got planned, special things, this, that, and the other. They're and so we do shows, regular shows, but also we do benefit shows. I'm actually talking to some mutual friends of ours, like we want to do a comedy fundraiser for the Down Syndrome Association of Wisconsin. And we've done a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club of Oshkosh.
Ooh,
and
okay.
And some other things. So I do more media interviews. So I never would do that. I always hook them up with the comedian.
Right.
But now this year I've done like 4 podcasts. Like, okay.
How have they been going? How do you
fine.
feel they've been going?
Fine, better than I feared. But for me, being slightly more introvert, something like this is better because I know like a camera's not on me,
Oh no,
or whatever.
No.
But other podcasts I did are video podcasts where they're like live streaming, to YouTube and Facebook and whatever. I'm like,
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. Look, let me share a secret that I learned when conversating with Kyle. Whether you realize it or not, we are both introverts. So we're both introverts, and we're both like, no camera. that goes a long way.
Right. Another thing I started to do is merchandise. I'm like, people get too, so I feel like some people get too crazy or it's just too cheesy doing like stupid merchandise, whatever. But I tried to be purposeful about it. Like if I had I'm going to wear it every day. Like right. If I had a t-shirt that had my business logo on it, and I brought you one, and, but also the pint glasses. So I went to one of the breweries, Bare Bones Brewery here in Oshkosh, and said, what if we collaborated on a pint glass? So they got my logo on one side and their logo on the other side.
Yeah, no, this is a beautiful, let me just say that Kyle brought me a beautiful pint glass and a hot t-shirt, which I would also share a hot t-shirt with him if I wasn't broke and taking pre-orders on my t-shirts.
Yeah. So how do you pre-order a t-shirt?
Oh, we'll talk about that. Look, I'm gonna hook you up because that's just how it goes. All right,
I'll buy one.
Yeah. Hey, and look, for the rest of you Kosh listeners, if you didn't know, we did release the Kosh gear. We got a t-shirt and a hat. The hat's awesome. So, okay.
Yeah, but thinking about marketing outside the box.
Yeah.
So I said, would you go in halvesies with me? Like, right. I'll pay for half of them, your logo, another. And so these are at the brewery. So, they're thrown in with a bunch of other types of pint glasses that they have.
That's awesome.
But you can just go to Bare Bones Brewery and all of a sudden you get a glass and like, what's Fox Valley Comedy? Oh, foxvalleycomedy.com. The other thing I could do is put a QR code on here.
You could.
So that's the other thing I've been looking at.
Have you thought about it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a good call.
I researched it. Yeah.
I like QR codes,
and you can do all kinds of like different shapes. You can also make your logo the QR code.
Right. I feel like QR codes were starting to go out until COVID, right. And then everybody's menu became a QR code.
Exactly.
And so now QR codes are back.
Yeah.
They're cool again.
Yeah, and there's a million QR code generator websites and
facts,
and there's only a few cheap, like free ones now. Now there's a bunch of ones that will do all these custom ones and funky ones and different shapes and colors and make them all bougie for you if that's what you want. So
okay,
but
all right.
But also I sell these at the shows, but I also really give them away more often than that. Just to comedians and business owners and people I work with and friends and family and whatever.
Well, thank you for sharing one with us here at the Kosh. What else? What else do you got with the comedy scene? Hey, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Could you get us a comic on the Kosh? Is there a local Oshkosh comic?
Oh yeah.
Can I get one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I have to see if they're interested. But yeah, there's an Oshkosh West High School teacher who also is a sports radio broadcaster, and he was an improv comic at Backlot Comedy House here in Oshkosh forever before they closed because of COVID. And he's a stand-up comedian that has been on every venue that I book. I can reach out to him.
Yeah. Let's just, if they're interested, they're interested. If they're not, they're not, but it's interesting. I would love a comic. I just think it's good stuff. It's good stuff, right? Once again, we all need to laugh and heal.
Yeah. Well, it'd be fun to see if we could get Dylan Postel on your podcast before our show. Maybe give a little bit extra shout out advertisement for that November 12th show.
Oh, should we do that right now? Go on. What's our shout out? Dylan, shout out.
Yeah. So you mentioned you had comic books. So do you love House of Heroes?
Used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you my first of all, I have great respect and love for House of Heroes, but I'm going to tell you that when I was in college, I spent too much money at House of Heroes. There might be credit cards that I'm still paying off from House of Heroes from 1993. No, I'm just kidding. But nonetheless, I'm not. I loved comics. And then,
that's one thing that surprises me, that Oshkosh has a comic book store. That's really rare for a town of 60,000.
Well, not just that, but it's a quality comic book store. It's actually an amazing, amazing comic book store. The owner, he's a pretty awesome gentleman. I've met him several times in the past. He probably doesn't remember, but nonetheless, back in the day, though, I used to have a comic bin. That was the thing. And so, you get a comic bin. I don't know if they still do this, but, when you're a regular, you get your regular issues, and they put them in your bin. And so you get your bin, you go visit your bin, and you pick up your comics every month or couple of weeks or whatever it was. And so, I got a lot of love for House of Heroes, actually. Can we just do a shout-out to them? Because, there's something to be said for comic book collectors out there.
Yeah. Yeah, the owner, he'd be a good guess. Because he's always got his finger in other ventures and things like that, too.
Yeah, so. The Kosh turns away no participants. If you want to be on the Kosh, you are more than welcome. Reach out at askthekosh@gmail.com. So, you know what? Anything else you want to put in there about Fox Valley Comedy?
Yeah, just you can check out us on all the social media outlets: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Fox Valley Comedy.
Ooh, you can't just tell people to reach out. What are those? Are you going to tell them what they are? What is the Twitter? What is the
Fox Valley Comedy, at Fox Valley Comedy.
At Fox Valley Comedy, okay.
Or foxvalleycomedy.com is where you can find all information on all upcoming shows. We have one show that's not advertised yet. I'll probably get it done this weekend. We're going to do a free show at the Time Theater for the downtown Oshkosh Business Improvement District. They have their first Friday event. So the first Fridays, they ask the downtown businesses to do something special to bring people to the downtown, because it's so important. And that's one thing I love. And I used to be on a bid board for Main Street, Marshfield, back in the day. So I love the business improvement districts that tried to help restore in the old storefront buildings and the old really awesome architecture of the old buildings downtown, because all over Wisconsin, same thing. All these downtown storefronts,
right?
In the 60s and 70s, 50s and 60s, they went in and they put on these ugly facades over this beautiful brickwork, and now we're tearing that down and restoring the brick and painting and the structural integrity of the buildings so they'll last longer. As part of the history of an area too, it's really important. So I'm booking a free show down there, bringing some comedians in, some local from the area and some from Milwaukee are coming. I got 3 from Milwaukee that are coming up for that show on December 3rd, Friday, first Friday of December. So,
okay.
So there'll be information on our social media and Facebook about that soon, and the Time Theater's outlets too.
I love the work you're doing, Kyle.
Thanks.
We need that. We need that. That is, I feel like comedy is vital to the community, and to have somebody that's organizing it for the greater good of the entire Fox Cities, that's important work. And I don't know if people get that, but comedy is important work. It's unity work, because whether we realize it or not, most of us laugh about the same things, and sometimes we need somebody to point out who we are so we can remind ourselves that we're more common than not. So I think there's important work in comedy. Okay, we're at that part of the show. You know what part of the show that is? We are at the part of the show where I start telling you that, hey, look, we are a work in progress. We are always trying to improve. We are exactly what you listen to. We are authentic. We are organic. We are in my dining room. That is where we record the show. So we are who we are. Please, 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 we want to hear from you, no matter what it is, whether it's in positive or negative or encouragement or criticism or things to make us better, because that's what we're really looking for. We're constantly looking to become a better show. Please email us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. All right. Hey, Kyle.
Sure.
You know what time it is? Well, no, you stop that. Stop what you're doing right now. I'm going to tell you what time it is. It is my favorite time of the podcast. It is shout out time. We love shout outs. So, Kyle, who you going to shout out?
I'm going to shout out the volunteer staff at the Time Theater, downtown Oshkosh. It's completely nonprofit. Every weekend, it's people from the community that just volunteer to run take tickets, make popcorn, sell drinks, set up the movies. Phil Krause is the operations manager, 100% volunteer. Like he spends, he's got to spend like 20, 30 hours volunteering every week, just setting up everything, make sure the website, social media, coordinating, bringing in, they do what they did. So old school people have told me, there's this retired guy who lives in Florida now, but he comes and spends some summers back here in like Winneconne, and he came to one of our shows, our comedy shows. He's like, yeah, I used to come here when I was a kid, Saturday morning cartoons, and
that's awesome.
Like I'm like, they should do that again. Like, people are downtown anyways for the farmers market. Like, I don't know. So their main thing is they do, fun, funky, mostly older, because of the price value, like
right.
Because of the price, like, but fun movies every weekend. It's usually like $4 stinking bucks. But they're wanting to bring in more live entertainment, and they have been. I mean, they brought in like Pauly Shore, like,
yeah.
Last did you go to that show?
No,
I went to the show.
No.
No.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I heard it was meh.
Yeah. I actually didn't buy tickets. I was like, got my kids to bed, and I looked on social media, and they're like we still have tickets to our late show, our 10 o'clock show. I'm like, okay. So I drove down in the snowstorm, and okay, I drove a half a mile.
Fair enough.
In snow, and so it's Pauly Shore, and but to me, I can't pass that up.
It's Pauly Shore in Oshkosh.
I could sit on my couch watching something, or I could go see Pauly Shore. I'm like, well, why not? Like, it wasn't really excited. I know he's, I know what he is and what he isn't, and I know who he was and who he is now. But I'm like, why not? Let's just see. And one of our comedians like opened for him, and he should have closed for him.
We're not gonna we gonna leave Pauly Shore alone.
But
now.
here's the connection though.
All right.
His mom, not connection, but this what excites me. What interests me is what his mom has done for stand-up comedy. So his mom was Mitzi Shore. She started and ran the Comedy Store Comedy Club in Hollywood forever. It's still going. It's still like the most famous. It's the most famous comedy club in the world. And I just watched this amazing documentary on it on Showtime on the Comedy Store, and that's Pauly Shore's mom that started that and grew that, right? And all the connections to every major like entertainer,
right?
New like late night host started as a pimple-faced college kid walking in and doing open mics at the Comedy Store in North Hollywood.
Right.
And it was just really cool. It's a really cool documentary. I wrote it down. But then all of a sudden I'm watching it. All of a sudden they show at the end of the documentary, they're showing like, so they show the history through the years, and then they show in like the current times, and they're showing some people like doing sets on stage, and all of a sudden they show Carmen Morales. And so Carmen Morales was the last headliner that I just brought into Menasha.
Oh.
Like,
that's huge.
Yeah, she started in the Chicago comedy scene.
Okay.
And like most Chicago comedians, we'll do shows in Wisconsin and Indiana and Iowa and whatever, in the Midwest while they're here. But she moved out to LA and she's become a regular at the comedy store, and that's huge. And she's a sassy Hispanic female comedian. She's a firecracker. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So I only got her. I was only able to book her just because of connections of treating other people right. They said you should talk to Lyle. Lyle can try to book you because she was coming in to do the comedy club in Milwaukee.
Okay.
On a Friday and Saturday night.
Right.
And another comedian that we know says, "Hey, talk to Lyle. Maybe he can book you on a Thursday." Things like that have been happening a lot this year. I was able to book Eddie Pepitone. He's an old school comedy legend. The New York Times called his 2020 comedy special the best of 2020. I was able to book him. Unfortunately, he had to cancel because he's also an actor, and he got an HBO. He got a spot on an HBO.
Squid Games, I'm sure. No, that's not even HBO. Sorry, y'all.
Just trying to treat the comedians right and networking, and with other people in the industry is opening up doors for us to bring better and better talent. But that's only half the side of the coin. The other coin is helping the locals grow. Like, so try to do both. So
thank you.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, no. This is good. And I just once again want to just stress the value of comedy. That we need it. We need those laughs. We need, I think comedy, I am in the business right now, my work, my job. I'm in the business of diversity and equity and inclusion. And I don't think there's anything that makes us feel like we belong more than a good laugh than comedy. So I want to sincerely thank you for the work you do. Thank you. All right. We are at the end here where we are, there's only a few things left to do, and that is, let me give my shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my daughter, Madison, better known as AKA Boo, as those who really know me. I have a daughter who is 24 years old. Let me tell you what that does to you in life. It makes you feel old as heck, and I do. But nonetheless, she is a wonderful young lady, brilliant, genius. Thank you. I love you, Boo. Very, 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 very much. You're my girl. Shout out to Maria at the PAC. Yes. Please, if you haven't already, go out there and look at the shows that are at the Performing Arts Center of the Fox Cities. There's amazing things happening out there. Shout out to Maria. Shout out to Judge Rains. Judge Rains, I got for my first time, I got to sit in on, and I'm going to screw up how you enunciate this, but I'm going to try it anyway, investiture. And what that is when they install a judge. Judge Raines is our newest judge in Outagamie County. She is a Latina. I got an opportunity to sit in and hear her story. And let me just say, I'm so proud. I'm so proud that in Northeast Wisconsin that this is who was chosen as one of our county judges, and her background and the things that she is done, and I am excited about what she's going to do. So, Judge Raines, thank you, and Cassie from Lawrence. Hey, let me just say, shout out to you for looking out. You know what I'm hollering about. Sometimes you end up in spaces where they're odd spaces for you, and you just don't feel like you fit, and then someone comes along and helps you fit. And so thank you for that. And another shout out to Jennifer at the College of Business at UW Oshkosh. You also, there's nothing better than walking into a space where you know no one, and there's this smiling face that knows you. And then all of a sudden it all feels better. So Jennifer at College of Business, thank you for being that face. I appreciate you. All right. Parting words of wisdom. This is an important part of the show. This is where the guests, our esteemed guests in this case. Yes, Kyle, I called you esteemed.
Don't ever do that ever again.
I'm going to do it every chance I get. All right. So what is our words of wisdom for this week?
Yeah. That's not an easy one to say. So I'll just keep it light. I know you're an NBA fan, right?
I am a Bucks fan.
You're a Bucks fan?
Bucks fan. I don't watch nobody else.
How long have you been a Bucks fan?
Well, I've been a Bucks fan since I was a little kid.
How old were you when you went to your first Bucks game?
I couldn't tell you that accurately, but what I will tell you this is my first Bucks game was at the Mecca.
Oh.
So there's been 2 arenas built since then. I was probably, in all honesty, my dad, shout out to Pop. Love you, Pop. Pop took me probably when I was I want to say 6, 7, 8, somewhere around in there. And he took me to the Mecca because the Mecca was different. The Mecca literally had beams where you could get stuck behind a beam where you couldn't even see the game. So, and yes, we bought those tickets once by mistake. But my dad was such a dad that he let me sit in the seat where you could actually see the game. Awesome. And that's a doggone great dad.
Right. Awesome. So I'm not feeling real serious or wise right now, but I'm feeling the fall, and I love this time of year. And one thing is basketball starting. So obviously, I'm a Portland Blazers fan.
Oh,
Damian Lillard is my guy.
Okay,
so
I love him.
Yeah, he's amazing, and so on every level, good person, father, community member, is staying in Portland, and he can make double the money somewhere else. He's staying in Portland. It's the right thing to do. Portland's treated him well, and I don't know if the ownership, obviously, the ownership is in flux, because they were owned. It was really interesting, being owned by Paul Allen,
right?
Who was, he was the vice president
of Microsoft
for all those years, and he just passed away a couple years ago, and so now it's in a family trust and everything. Who's gonna? So yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to buy the Portland Blazers.
Bruh. Yes,
I wish. But I don't know. Just a quote. I don't know. Were you ever a fan of Shaq?
Yes, I love Shaq.
Okay, so here's my parting words of wisdom. This is an old, see if you know this or not. This is an old TV commercial. He said, "Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk."
Facts. You know what? Because let's be honest, no one dunked nastier than Shaq. I love that. Okay.
That's your words of wisdom. Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk.
I love it. Hey, you know what? I got one more thing out there for the Kosh listeners. I want you to, when you see Kyle, I'm going to give Kyle a gift. And I want you to make sure you ask Kyle what that gift is and message Kyle and say, Kyle, post the gift. The Kosh.